The women's hockey team plays its final regular season home series of the year this weekend when it hosts Minnesota State. Both Saturday and Sunday's games will start at 2 p.m. Head coach Mark Johnson is here. We'll have some opening comments and take questions.
First thing, I have to apologize. Last week I told everybody, bring your skates out and make sure they're sharpened because that outdoor ice is harder than normally what we see indoor ice. But yesterday you didn't need your skates sharpened. Actually, we were a little slushy over there at Vilas, but had a good turnout. Happy with the players and how they worked with the groups of families that came out yesterday morning and had a wonderful day. The weather was nice. It was warm, but we needed about another 10 or 15 degrees cooler to make the ice a little bit better. But with that said, I was impressed with our effort this weekend. I thought defensively, in a small rink where things are going to happen quickly, pucks are going to turn over fast. We did a good job of, not only winning 2 games, but did a good job of, protecting areas. Friday night's game, they had 2 extended 5-on-3s. We did a good job of killing penalties. And so, the takeaway is, and building as we move forward, a lot of positive things happen. The most important part is we found a way to win a couple hockey games and certainly put us in position this weekend with senior weekend and, finishing our home series, hopefully off on a real positive note.
With it being the end of the regular season, do you just foresee a lot of tight, low-scoring games kind of the rest of the way here?
That tends to be what's happened the last month, with all the games that you've seen, whether, a team at the top of our league and is playing a team at the bottom. They seem to be real tight checking. Obviously this time of year, special teams is an important factor. So if your power play's working and you end up getting 2 or 3 opportunities in the course of a game, you capitalize on, 1 or 2 of those situations, you give yourself a better chance to win. So it's this race to try to get to 2 or 3. And some nights you can do that quickly, and other nights you may not be able to do it. But, to answer your question, it seems everybody's defending well, their goaltenders are playing well, and that leads to low-scoring games.
Andy.
Mark, with John Harrington coming in here this weekend as Mankato's coach, you go back to 1980, and you're the only 2 guys who went on to coach in college from that 80 team. That surprise you? And I'm curious what your thoughts are about facing a friend like that in a circumstance like this.
I think it's, it adds a little bit of flavor to the weekend. It's a long season, a 2-semester sport, and, you're always looking for things to, maybe perk yourself up. So I know when we played up there, I was getting emails from my former Olympic teammates to make sure we took it easy on the Mavericks when we played up there. And, the one thing about John, he's been around, he's coached at a lot of different levels, was very successful at the Division III level, understands the game, and, now has had time within our league, been around the league, seen different coaching styles, has, been able to coach now the women for a period of time where he's certainly more comfortable, I'm sure, than he was at the beginning of this season. So it's fun, it's enjoyable, but as he'll tell you, when the puck drops, Saturday afternoon, they're playing to win, as we are, and so it becomes competitive. They'll look at video, we'll look at video, and we'll try to bash ideas in regards to how we can make our team successful both Saturday and Sunday. But it adds a flavor, it's fun. Of all the different teammates that I had on that team, over the course of probably the last 8 or 10 years, I've probably conversed with him more than any of the other guys just because we're in the business together. He was scouting the last couple of years prior to him taking the job at Mankato with the Avalanche, and so our paths crossed. Probably more than any of the other players on the team. So I hope he does well, which I think he will do well because he understands the game and certainly is a very good coach and just needs time now, needs a couple recruiting classes to move his program forward.
Dennis.
I don't know if you can characterize a class, but you look at your senior group, what would you say about them and their contributions over their time here to the program?
I would characterize them as persistent, consistent, and from top to bottom, I think made a big contribution. Certainly on the ice, but probably equally as important off the ice. Some of the contributions they made within the community, and some of the things that we're able to do to touch our fans and to touch areas that are helpful in creating excitement around our program, creating people coming and watching them. I think that group has done a job probably equal or better than some of the other classes we've had. So hats off to them.
Coach, I wanted to ask you about one senior in particular. Rachel Jones seems to have been one of the most improved players. What has it been like for you to watch her development? And then in this senior year, what's allowed her to do so well and take some big strides?
Well, I think, she's got good work habits. Grew up on a farm. Used to leave Sunday afternoon at the Cap Ice Center, playing, actually played with my daughters. My son's coached her for, a number of years. Unlike other high schoolers, she'd drive back up into the Fond du Lac area and have to milk cows from 8 at night till 1 in the morning and, get up the next day, drive an hour to high school. And I think the way she was brought up, she's got good work habits. And, maybe early on in her career here, she wasn't getting the ice time, but continued to work. And so if we were going to be successful this year, there was a group of players that we needed to make a contribution. She's certainly been able to do that, so I'm happy for her.
Is there any concern about your team maybe relaxing this week and this weekend, noting I believe that you've already had a postseason home game announced and that knowing who you're playing and then Minnesota next week, is there any concern in your mind?
Well, there's certainly some more distractions with it being the last weekend for our seniors. A lot of their parents will be in town. There'll be some introductions Sunday before the game, and so it's an emotional weekend for that group. But, as I'll talk to them shortly, we've been together for, since early September. We've played 30 games. We put ourselves in good position. Now is not the time to let your guard down. You have to continue to do things on a daily basis. When we practice, you got to be focused in. And the big thing is to come out Saturday and embrace the weekend. Enjoy it, especially from our seniors. It's going to be the last weekend. They get a chance to play regular games in LeBon. I know we'll have big crowds. So, embrace it, enjoy it, and go out and play free.